I didn't realize there were people in the world, in the United States, who don't like Die Hard as a Christmas movie. It was
Well,
a
there's some
shock to
debate
me.
whether it is a Christmas movie.
That will definitely be one of our questions for later in December, because obviously I think of it as a Christmas movie. I mean, it had a
I do
Christmas
too.
tree and a Santa Claus, and that kind of brings us to the opening scene of Undercover Christmas Escape, which when
Yes.
I read it, I went, Die Hard. She must be a fan of Die Hard. So it opens in an office party, and our two heroes, our protagonists, are playing Mr. and Mrs. Claus. And
Yes, they
why
are.
not be the undercover agents and be dressed up as, Santa and Miss Santa? And why not? That sounded really cool to me. Anyway, let's get started with this. So, because there might be some people who are not familiar with you, Terri, I know it's hard to believe, but there might be people who don't know your background. So, would you go ahead and tell us how you got started writing? And then you could also include in there your favorite place to write, because we find that fascinating.
Well, um, I always wanted to be a writer since I was very little, but when I was in my late 20s, well, not late, mid 20s, I got pregnant. And so to kind of take my mind off my very nauseous pregnancy, I took a writing class and it was how to write a romance. And that's what I read. So I thought, I can do this. Sure, why not? So I tried. It took me 10 years to sell a book, but I worked really hard to do that. And I've been writing for about 20 years now. And I write my first draft in the bathtub. I dictate the first alliteration of the story, and then I clean it up on my computer right here where I'm sitting. So, yeah.
Yes. We had a book club last night in person, and we were saying, they're going, that's Terri who writes in the bathtub, right? And I was like, yep, that's who's
Yeah.
coming. And we're going to be
Yes.
talking about her Christmas book. So I just, I loved the way Undercover Christmas Escape opened. But the thing that I was really surprised at is that I'm used to dogs in your books, and there was no dog in this one.
There was
What
no dog in
happened?
this book. I know that I couldn't figure out a way to incorporate a dog because neither of my hero or heroine were handlers. They weren't canine officers. So, yeah, I couldn't figure out a way to do that. But I miss it. But
Well, they could have stuck
yeah,
reindeer on him, and he could just been sitting there with the
that's
handler could be there.
true.
That would be
That is
kind of
true. Yeah,
cute.
that would
Yeah,
have been. Yeah.
yeah. And then we could have had a complete set. We have the hand. Yeah. Anyway, okay. So this one, the character Sera in this one, she has also showed up as like a secondary character in two of your other books, but you don't
Yes.
consider there. This is not like a series. This is just they all take place in the same kind of environment or the same world that you've created, or do
Well,
you think
the
of it as a
the
series?
I think of it kind of as a series, but they're all standalones. Each book has its own romance, its own suspense arc, but the characters kind of come and go because the four main characters are U.S. Marshals and they work together. And Sera in this book is on loan to a task force, but her U.S. Marshal buddies do show up later in the book. And then there's a fourth book that's coming out next June, and that will be the last of this series. And you'll see Sera again in that book.
Okay, good. All
Yeah.
right. And what made you set it in Dallas this time? Because she is from San Antonio. So
Yeah.
what
Okay.
inspired you, and what kind of
Well,
research did you do when you came and visited with us?
yes, yes. So my editor actually wanted me to set it in Dallas. I was thinking New York originally, and she was like, no, I want you to set it in Dallas. Stay in Texas. Since the US Marshal's office that I'm using is in San Antonio, she was like, stay in Texas. So I used Dallas. And so, yes, when we came year last year. I can't year before. Anyway, I did, kind of look around and see if there were areas that I thought would work, and I did find some. And then just lots of Googling and Google Earth, looking at the downtown and trying to figure out which building to set my office party in. And I chose the I don't know if I'm going to say this right, Santander Tower. It's in the historic main district downtown. It looked really cool, so I thought I'll use that.
Yeah. It has like an arc. Yeah, I was really surprised you didn't use Thanksgiving Tower because it has a restaurant at the top of it, which I've actually been in for a holiday party, and which would be ideal to be shot up because it needed to be refurbished. See, everybody else was saying, don't shoot up my favorite place. It's really pretty. But I'm thinking, oh, you're not going to shoot it up enough that it like destroys the structure of the building.
No.
But it's a perfect time for the insurance and everything to do a remodeling.
That's
right?
Funny. Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. And I did, when I was reading it, I was like, oh, she got the locations right. The streets are in the right place. And yes, you did very good. So unlike another author we won't mention who put the street in the wrong place for Dallas. So you and Google Earth, and you're coming and visiting, you did excellent job. Excellent job,
thank
guys.
You.
Yeah. So, but okay, so your background, not your background, but the books that you've written over that I've been reading over the years and stuff, how do you know the details of how, like, for example, the US, because the US Marshals work, let's just focus on that. Did you do some drive training, or how do you do the research so that you get the details right on how the officers work, or how that whole department works?
Well, for the U.S. Marshals, I read a lot of articles. I searched their website, their public website, and just read and printed off lots of information. There's actually a book that was written by a U.S. Marshal about the Witness Protection Program. And so I got a lot of information from that, and I have that on my bookshelf here. And then in general, for law enforcement, I did take a citizens academy with my local sheriff's department. And that really helped just get into the mindset of somebody who goes into law enforcement, how they, carry themselves, and the things that they, all their equipment that they have to, don, the flak vest and the utility belt, the gun, blah. It's a lot of stuff. And so I try to incorporate everything that I do. And then I also belong to a writers group that has former law enforcement officers who answer questions for writers. So that was always really helpful.
Oh, I bet that would be. Okay. And so what's interesting about this book is that, or the world that you've created, is not just one agency, but this is a task force that goes in and is trying to find, it's going after the money. It's finding out who is doing the money laundering. And it's, so the office party is for like an accounting or a financial broker kind of guy, right?
Right.
Right. So what kind of research did you do in creating the task force? Because there was somebody from all of the different agencies in this book.
Yes. So I've done many task force. So I've researched all the different agencies. And again, I've gone to their public websites and just scoured them for information. And it's surprising how much, they really give a lot of their history and their, not their operations per se, but enough that I have some verisimilitude when I'm writing. So that's what I'm always looking for, just trying to make it as plausible as possible without really having to be the nitty gritty day to day that I'm not really privy to as a writer.
Yeah, that would make sense. how did you come up with Mr. and Mrs. Claus? I mean, just how did you do
Well,
that? That was cute.
yeah. Well, originally I was thinking of a Christmas elf. I wanted to have Sera go undercover as a Christmas elf, like in a mall or something, and have the hero be the Santa. But then when I decided to make it a high-end Christmas party, I thought, well, we could have Santa, but I think it'd be funnier if she's dressed as Mrs. Claus with the wig and the padded dress. So that's what I did.
It was great, and it was great the way the whole thing was set up, and I really enjoyed it. I had to go back and read it twice because I was like, oh, that would be really funny. Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay. So why don't you I'm just really sad that there's no dog in this book. So I'm trying to move on from that. I really, really, really am. Um,
Sorry. There is in the next one. The
oh
next
good.
two.
Oh good. Yes, because you are a
Yeah,
dog person, because in your real life, you
I
do a lot of
am.
agility with your dog. And I would
I
feel,
do.
someone I'm reading your books, I somehow think that you're putting your own personal experience with your pet, with your dog into it
I do a
because
lot of the time. Yeah, especially the
yeah.
training.
So was this a vacation for the dog that he or she did not get to take part in this book?
Yeah, yeah. My dog's a she, and she didn't get to take part, but she was still sitting here by my side throughout the whole thing. So she still gave her input.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we're gonna move right into the fresh fiction facts because they're Christmas themed this time.
Okay.
And I
Cool.
know, yeah. So we're gonna try really hard not to stump you. So you just answer right off the top of your head. Don't think about it too much. Don't let us stymie you. You're gonna be fine. What is your favorite holiday tradition?
And my favorite holiday tradition, let's see. Well, I guess decorating the Christmas tree would be my best. I mean, that I did that on Thanksgiving Day. As soon as we were done eating, I'm like, Christmas time. Let's put the tree up. So that's my favorite holiday tradition.
And do you have any issues with your tree like Allison's daughter had with the tree falling over, or pets
No, but
helping?
I have a fake tree because we have allergies. And one year we had a real tree and it had spiders. And we woke up the next morning to the whole ceiling covered in spiders. And I said, no, never again. We're not doing that. Yeah,
Oh, oh,
yeah,
oh.
that was not fun.
No, that would not be fun at all.
No.
Yeah. Oh, that's disgusting, actually. That's worse than having a squirrel in it, like Christmas vacation. But spiders are not I don't like spiders. I don't like snakes and
Yeah,
I don't like
no,
spiders. Those are not
yeah.
good at all. Okay. So now you wrote, this is not your first Christmas book or
No.
Chris or suspense set around Christmas time. Obviously, you don't write it in like the 6 weeks before Christmas. So how do you get yourself into the mood for whatever time of the year it is to be able to write a good Christmas book?
Lots of Christmas music. And thankfully, you can find Christmas movies online, on the streaming platforms any time of the year. So that's what I do. Yeah.
Okay. So do you have it running in the background, the Christmas movie, or do you sit and watch it just to kind of get in the mood and then go and write? Or how does
Yeah,
this
no, I
work?
sit like when I'm eating my breakfast or eating lunch, I'll have it on and just kind of like, oh, okay, yeah. And then I turn it off. I can't really write when there's something. I can write with music, but I can't with the television because it's too distracting. I stop and start watching. And then I'm like, oh, no, I got to be working.
Okay. What is your favorite Christmas or holiday music?
Um, that's a good question. I love the old standards with, like White Christmas and what is just, I really just, I don't know, I'm very eclectic. I'm not into some of the more funny ones, like grandma got ran over by a reindeer. That one kind of bugs me because I think, oh, poor grandma. But I love Michael Bublé's album, and when Amy Grant had one, and Mariah Carey, of course, her voice is just, so pretty. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What is the best Christmas gift, or what is the best holiday gift you ever gave to somebody?
Hmm. That's a good question. Well, I would say it was probably when I got my very first royalty check, and it came right around Christmas time. I bought my husband a um, day at the racetrack here in Portland at PRI. So he got to go and take a class, and then he got to race a car around the track. And he was quite flummoxed when I gave him that. He was like, yeah, because he's a car guy.
Oh,
So he was just so happy. So that was probably, I think, the best gift I've given.
that's a sweet and wonderful gift. That is
Yeah,
that, yeah. You have
it
pictures and
was fun.
movies and films of this and videos?
I didn't go
Oh,
because, but he didn't take pictures. So
no.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Ah, I'm pretty sure
They
that
don't,
these,
yeah, they don't let spectators come because
no,
they
no.
don't want anybody to get hurt. So yeah.
I'm sure that these days, like in the last 2 years or so, they would include a video package with it so that you
They
would
probably,
remember.
yeah,
Yeah.
right. And they might have, but I don't think he did it. At least
No,
I've never
because
seen
yeah,
it.
that would be extra money,
Yeah.
kind of thing. So, speaking about holiday gifts, are you a person who makes the gifts for somebody or for all of the people that you want to give, or are you a person that purchases them? And which do you think is better, a handmade gift or one that you've purchased?
Okay. Well, I have done crafting, so I do craft sometimes. If I come across something, I will make a gift. Usually I buy, and sometimes I buy crafted gifts. I love going to farmers markets and holiday bazaars and buying from local artists. Um, but then there's times when you just got to buy it. When you see it, you got to buy it. I don't know that one is better than the other. I think it just really depends on the gift and the person you're giving it to. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the best way. It's just because you're really thinking of the other person and
Right.
how you
Yeah.
think that they were going to be happy. So this goes along with this. What was your worst failure as a gift you were trying to make, and you will never show that to anybody?
That's a good question. um, hmm. Well, I think when I was a child, I tried I tried to crochet a scarf for my mom, and it didn't go so well. So I just balled it up and threw it away.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm not
I
real
re
good at that.
No, I remember somebody was trying to make a scarf and they ended up with a bookmark at the end, which was the only part that actually like worked.
Yeah.
So I think you've already answered this question, which is real tree or fake tree, because we do not want spiders.
No, we don't.
But when you do a fake tree, does it have to be green, white, pink? Are you trying to look natural or are you just embracing the fake?
I embrace the fake. My tree looks very, very real. It looks very real. But growing up, my grandparents had a white tree that was fake. And I don't know if you remember, this was popular back in the day, but they had this big wheel that had colors on it, and it would turn so the tree would be different colors. It would be yellow and red and green and blue. It was really fun.
Oh yeah, I remember that. That was really
Yeah.
cool. I babysat for somebody who had a tree that did that, and I thought that was
Mm.
amazing.
Yeah.
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 Okay, so now we're going to talk about decorating the tree or your house or whatever. Are you a white light or are you multicolored light?
We're multicolored. Yes. I don't know. To me, it's a little more cheery, though. We have neighbors who have white lights, and it's so very elegant. Maybe I'm not very elegant, so maybe I like the more flashy colors.
And do you decorate the outside of your house or just inside?
Both. We do outside. Just this year, we've just done around the garage because our eaves are, I don't know what you call it. The top of the house is so high up, and I didn't want my husband to go up there, so so we compromised. We just did around the garage.
Ah, that's good. And when do you exchange gifts? If you exchange gifts, are you a Christmas Eve person or are you a Christmas morning person?
So that's an interesting. I don't know what we're gonna do this year. Sometimes we would open like one gift on Christmas Eve. As a child, I spent, Christmas Eve with my mom and then Christmas Day with my dad. So I had two Christmases. But with my children, we would do one Christmas Eve and then the rest on Christmas morning. The last few years, we just wait till Christmas morning. And this year we're going away for Christmas. So I'm not sure what we're going to do.
Ah, so where are you going for Christmas? Is it to a friend's house or are you doing a vacation?
We rented a house in Sisters, Oregon, because we wanted to go where there's going to be hopefully be snow. We wanted to be in the snow this year, so something different.
It's not going to
Yeah,
snow when you did this.
I know. It probably won't.
Well, but we'll think good thoughts for you. We will
I hope
for
it will.
sure.
Yeah.
So that kind of goes along with, okay, so if you weren't going to spend your Christmas at home or with your family, well, you could take your family with you if you wish. What location would you like to go to? Obviously one with snow because you said you would like to have snow, but where would your be
Yeah.
ideal, like wish list, this is where I want to have a Christmas.
Mm. I have never been to like Colorado, Vail or Aspen or or even Park City in Utah. I've never been to any real ski resort kind of um, place at Christmas. And I think that would be really fun. Not that I ski, but I could sit and watch.
Well, I mean,
So,
the après ski is the best part. It's just sitting there with your hot chocolate while they
yeah,
come off the slopes and they've got crutches.
right,
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
And you're not the
So
one on the crutches. You
I'm
just get
not
to
the
watch
not
them.
the one with the crutches. Yeah.
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 Okay. So when you get to wrap a gift up, how do you do it? Are you a gift wrap person or gift bag, or do you just say here?
Here. No. Well, it depends on the size of the present too. Sometimes I'll do bags and then do lots of fluffy stuff out of it and ribbon around the handle. But I I do like to wrap presents. I was actually when I was in my early 20s, I worked in the wrapping department for wine stocks. They're gone, but it was a big department store like a Nordstrom's. And I learned how to wrap it where you hide the tape and you make really sharp corners and you do the ribbon. And so I get pretty fancy if I wrap. Yeah.
Oh, wow. See, teenagers get to learn all of these great skills that they should
Mhm.
continue to do, right?
Yes. Right. Right. That was
Yeah.
one of my first jobs, wrapping presents.
Every Christmas. Okay. So when you think of Christmas or the holidays there, what do you think of as food? Because I'm doing this for Lady Sarah. What do you think of as is like synonymous with you with Christmas? Is what kind of food?
That's a good question. Hmm. Hmm. Donuts.
Donuts?
Apple cider donuts.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I know that sounds weird, but every Christmas, or we'd go to like the Santa's Village or those kind of places, they'd always have apple cider donuts. You don't find those very often in regular donut places. And I noticed our local donut shop has them for the season. And I was like, oh, apple cider donuts. I haven't seen those in years. So, yeah.
We're obviously going to have to go there tomorrow and pick up some to munch on, or at
Yes,
least have some
I
for the
know.
weekend, right?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I think of those for when we would do the scary hay rides, because they would always have the apple cider donuts during that with the hot chocolate. Why
Yeah.
not? But I've never thought about them for Christmas. I don't think they do them around here in Texas, in Dallas. I'm pretty sure they don't do apple cider donuts, which is really sad. And if anybody who's listening finds these, write it in chat, please, because I need to know where to go get those, because I do love apple cider donuts, and they are very,
Yeah.
very hard to find. Yeah.
They are. Yeah.
Okay. What is the one food that you have to make over the holidays that you hate, but you love people, so you make it for them?
Well, we don't do it anymore, but we used to have to always make this Jello pineapple cheese thing for my mother-in-law. She absolutely loved this. It was lime Jello and pineapple, and I don't know if it was ricotta or what it was in it. No, thank you.
Ah, it's obviously not the strawberry pretzel salad, which we have here, which is, it has cream cheese, a sweet cream cheese, and a crunched up crust of the pretzels, as if they were graham crackers. So that's a layer.
Yeah.
And then there's like a whipped cream and cheese and cream cheese together. And then the red layer on top has like sometimes pineapples or things in it. Yeah. It's actually very
Interesting.
good.
Yeah,
But I can
good.
get that at a restaurant. So I'm not one of those home style restaurants. So I don't have to actually make it. Okay. So before we move on to the Q&A, I'd like to ask you to tell people where it's the best place for them to find out more information about you, including the upcoming book that's the next book in the series, and how to, where to find you on the internet.
Well, I have a webpage, www.terrireed.com, and you can find out all the information there. You can sign up for my newsletter. That's the best way to keep up with when my books will be released. And I always do some kind of little gifting. And when you sign up, you also get a free novella, little romantic suspense novella. So yeah, that would be, and then of course, Facebook, you can find me on Facebook and Instagram.
Okay, thank you. And I just loved somebody put in the chat that, because what you were talking about, that you learned to wrap presents, she had to sell Godiva chocolates at Christmas, and it is imperative to taste them all in order to make a recommendation, right?
That would be, yes, that would be a lovely job.
Yeah. Well, Terri, I want to say thank you very much for joining us, and we're so grateful that you're going to stick around to answer questions for us.
Of course. Thank you for having me. I always love visiting with you all.